rules.
The boss. What's up, chat? Culprit, what's up, dude? Yes, we should be resting. We kind of are still resting. We are coming out the other side of it now, so it's not too bad. Still got a bit of a cough and headaches and that, but we're getting there. Nutty's almost ready to go. We were out of lockdown on Friday. Is that Nutty? Friday? Thursday, Friday? And I'm allowed out Tuesday next week. So, but we're getting there. So appreciate you coming in and checking up on us, Culprit. What's up, Era? I'm under a blanket. I'm resting. Just you. I'm gonna rest enough to play D&D. This is resting for me. So, well, no, this is the thing. I mean, I'm not sure how long this session's gonna go for tonight because of what's happened last session. We never actually know what's going to happen. But anywho, so those of you that are not sure what we're talking about, COVID has struck the evil household. So Nutty, myself, and the kid are all down with the COVID at the moment. We are getting there. Thanks to everyone that's asked how we've been. We are still alive. It hasn't been too bad. I think yesterday was probably the worst day for symptoms for me. Nutty, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. She was pretty bad with symptoms. The kiddo's been quite good. He hasn't had many symptoms at all yet. So hopefully he doesn't suffer too badly either. So at the moment, for me, it's just I've still got a bit of a nasty cough and the headaches and that to come along with that. We all know what it's like to cough so much that your head hurts and your ribs hurt and your lungs hurt. Pretty much everything hurts when you cough or sneeze. But yeah, so we are getting there, so I do appreciate everyone's support for that again, but I was never going to not play tonight. Unless I was really bad. Tonight was always going to go ahead. Obviously, this past Sunday we had the Paradigms 2 Shadows Embrace episode, which will be the final episode for a little while. This coming Sunday there will be no stream. We'll be doing a video call with our Vampire Masquerade crew, prepping for next Sunday, the 5th of June, where we'll be starting season 3 of Vampires in Melbourne, Blood and Belief Chronicle, which should be the last of this story arc. So this should be the final season for Vampires Masquerade. Once that's concluded, we will jump right back into Shadows Embrace and pick up not quite where we left off. There'll be a little bit of a time skip, only a couple of weeks. So players, make sure you let me know what you want to do in that 2-week period. A couple have already sort of let me know. So the rest of the players, let me know what you want to do in that 2-week period, just so we can get all that organised before we start. We've got plenty of time. We're looking at probably 3 months, maybe. 12 episodes, I want to say, will possibly be for the Vampire Masquerade, give or take. So we'll certainly deal with that when the time comes. But the mini adventures will go on. When this one completes, we'll be moving on to Roasted Chicken's mini adventure. He has been in contact on and off, so we're definitely looking at that. Nope, it was always 10 to 12 Drax. I mean, I could make it 16. 16 to 20. Make it longer. I've always said 10 to 12. Baz said 14 initially. I'd put him back to 10 to 12, but it depends on the story. You know what we're like with RP, it could be 25 at the rate we go. Anywho, without any further ado, we will jump into tonight's session of Into the Snake Pit, where last we left off, our adventurers, Manus, Salanthi, Thrixel and Arme had been contracted by Nillaby Gatong to infiltrate the infamous Snake Pit Casino and retrieve a ledger from one Orphinius Stone. Your first excursion into the Snake Pit was not uneventful, but you managed to get in, do some gambling, some drinking, and a little bit of recon, as we say. discovering that the establishment runs a fairly tight ship. The staff know each other relatively well. It appears, at the very least, they seem to be paid well and are good at their jobs. You then returned the second evening after a bit more research, this time leading you to a secret entrance in the sewers, away from the staff entrance which you'd first discovered. So you entered the sewer. You made your way through, eventually finding this entrance, which led you into a cell in the staffing area of the snake pit. Once there, you managed to pick the lock from the inside and put yourselves in a bit of a situation with the guard that was there. A little bit of quick thinking from Manus had the guard under a somewhat of a charm spell for a moment, of enough to render him weaponless. A battle then ensued, in which, even without his weapon, he was still a formidable opponent. However, Manus ending his life rather gruesomely. Not really wanting to, however, but seems his former prowess has not yet left him, and he was able to dispatch this Minotaur rather gruesomely, hiding his body, cleaning up the evidence. Eventually, excuse me. Eventually, you make your way into the rear staffing area, with Salanthi getting there first, hiding under a table, followed shortly thereafter by her companions, seemingly unseen. You then move northward, finding a small room, making your way into this room, and about this moment, the sending stone which you had recovered from the first Minotaur guard erupts into life, giving warning of intruders within the establishment. It appears that you've been seen, and the alarm has been somewhat raised. Freaking out slightly, you move forward northward rather quickly and find yourselves face to face with another 2 Minotaur guards in a small guard room, it seems. In the hallway in the guard room, you battle backwards and forwards, eventually bringing these 2 guards to bear. However, in a last-ditch effort to do his job, 1 Minotaur, before being dispatched, renders Manus unconscious with a massive blow. Dispatching him quickly and aiding your friend, we now rejoin you as you sit in this office of sorts, Manus bleeding heavily through some pretty severe wounds that have been inflicted. The 2 bodies of the Minotaurs still in the room with you. The door is open. You know that the alarm has been raised. What do you do? Turn it over to you.
Sort of like Manus sort of like drags himself up on the wall. Well, that was unpleasant. I'm not sure you'll all agree with me, but I'm feeling a bit like we should cut our losses before we get. And he's sort of like touching where he's been stitched up from magic. Oh.
Did you see anywhere where we... Is there anywhere where we might be able to rest that you saw on our way through? We could always lie under the table and have a snooze. It was quite comfortable under there.
I just realised I ballsed up, and there's actually a door here. I'm just looking at my wall going, fuck, there's supposed to be a door there. And I had a wall there instead of a door. So there is a door there, guys, just so you know. It just appeared randomly.
Peek through that door if it's unlocked.
Yeah. Okay, you do what you feel like you got to do.
But first, I'm going to cast. I can't find it on here. Healing light on Manus. Found it. Where are you, Manus? And I am going to cast it twice. So you'll get 9 points.
Are you allowed to cast it twice?
Yeah, it's a cantrip. That goes on however many d6 you use.
Just read it, please.
You have a 1d6 healing pool that resets when you finish a long set. So I've got 6d6 healing pool that resets when you finish a long rest. As a bonus action, you can heal one creature you can see within 60 foot. Spending dice from the pool, maximum.
So it costs you a bonus action. Okay, it's not a cantrip because it's not a spell.
Okay, it's a healing thingy.
So it costs you a bonus action every time you use it. Okay, so just bear that in mind. You got 6 charges of it.
I have 3 left.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so easily enough done. I will give those to Manus. So you're no longer feeling bloody, Manus. Your wounds heal somewhat.
Sorry, I was muted. I was trying to move myself, but it wasn't clicking on me.
That's so good. So your wounds close, Manus, as Salanthi moves to the door. What are you doing, Salanthi?
Perhaps we close that door first. Thank you.
I was just going to have a little peek through this door here.
It is not locked, it appears. You turn the handle and it is not locked. As you open it, you find a long corridor with a stone floor, which appears to be 3 doorways.
3 rooms down here, guys. Should I just go and peek in one of them, see what they are? Being as I'm little and people probably won't see me.
I still think we should get out of here, and even that's going to be hard, but at this point, do what you wish. That thing.
I'm hoping to find a spot where we can go and rest for a little bit. Unless you think we can get back to those cells, because we could probably rest in one of those.
We could use the passageway back into the sewers. Might be able to find some fish swimming in the sewer.
Yummy sewer fish.
Yeah.
Because they don't know that we haven't been thrown in the cells by somebody.
Of course, if they're on alert, they'll probably be watching the doors in the main room.
Whatever you do, be careful.
Can I stealth and have a peek through one of these doors, please?
You can. Roll stealth check.
I can't remember if we looted the 2 thingies, so I'm going to go through the pockets.
I do not believe you have, but we'll resolve Salanthi first, and then we'll come back to you guys. 21. So as far as you know, you are stealth. You move forward. Which door are you going to check first?
I'll try the first one.
Appears to be locked.
Okay, I'll go back and let them know. I'm not going to assume. I'm going to check the other 2 doors as well.
Oh, go check them.
They're all locked.
Did you try the key card swipe thingy?
Who has that?
I don't know. Possibly me.
I believe that Arme had it and possibly handed it to Thrixel for the art to get into the armory. Or Thrixel had it and passed it to Arme for the armory, I believe.
I don't have. No, Ahmed just had it.
I think Arme had it.
originally.
Yeah.
I had it to get into the armory.
Yeah, so you'd still have it.
Yeah, he had it originally because he looted the first Minotaur.
Well, we saw one of them drinking healing potions, so these guys might actually have healing potions on them.
This is a good point.
We should probably check their pockets.
So no need to roll investigation checks. I mean, they are dead and quite easily searched, and there are 4 of you to easily search through their pockets. The one that you saw taking potions, he has 55 gold pieces in a pouch on his belt, and 2 empty vials, which would have been healing potions. He carries a great axe, similar to the one that you had taken from the guard in the cells. The second has 35 gold pieces in his pouch, and does still appear to have 2 standard healing potions attached to his belt. He did not get a chance to use them during this battle.
Well, the one that I'm standing next to, I'd loosen. I'd say this is what he has, which I'm pretty sure is the one that didn't drink them. Because the other guy was the one at the back, wasn't he? He moved to the back.
That's correct.
And he's got 35 gold on him.
Yes.
He's telling the group. This one's got 35 gold and 2 healing potions.
And this one just has 55 gold and some empty potions. So, drink up.
Yes.
I'll take one of your offering.
Manus, it is at this point the sending stone that is still in your pocket, I believe, vibrates once again and sparks into life. And you hear, "Any word from the office? We haven't heard from anyone from a while. The people in the armory get caught." You hear some voices backwards and forwards a little bit. "No one's reported back in." And then you hear a different voice. Just as you're about to speak, you hear a different voice come across. "What is going on up there?" "A breach, sir. We're looking into it." And a slight pause. "Lock the place down, you idiot. You know the procedure. No one in or out." "Right you are." And then all goes silent on the stones.
Well, so much for leaving.
Oh dear. Guessing it's not going to help if you say that they've been caught and are being taken to the cells.
No.
We could cut these guys up some more and then say that they've been mushed. The trespassers have been mushed.
Yeah, none of us really look like we work here, though.
It's sadistic and possibly unnecessary, I may, but always appreciate your contributions.
Thank you.
There is a ladder over here, correct?
Where?
Going down? Like, up
No.
there?
No.
Squish Minotaur.
That's a dead Minotaur. And a
I
door.
can't see what's under him. Oh, there's a door up there. Okay.
No, there's not a door there, but there is a door.
Well, there's a door right next to it.
Yeah.
To the left
I think
of it.
what you're seeing is his arm and maybe the axe.
Yeah, so
Oh,
if I
yeah,
make him
good.
disappear,
Oh, okay.
you can see there's just a doorway there.
Alright, so if someone gives me one of those healing potions, I will take one of those healing potions.
I will hand you a healing potion.
So 2d4 plus 2, roll a d20 first to see if it does its maximum heal. So just roll a custom d20 roll.
D20.
Ooh, so close, not quite.
Oh,
So close. I don't know why it was -1 either.
Why is there -1?
Whatever. I must have accidentally clicked -1.
Must have,
2d4.
alright. 2d4 plus 2. So it'll be 7. 7 points of healing damage.
7. Oh.
Are you able to add that to yourself, or do you need me to do it?
I can do that.
Yes, if you're using the doctor's bag thing, you're always HP, or there you go, just like that. So, made us feeling a little better than previous. You've now been, obviously all of you would have heard what came over the sending stone. It appears that the place has gone into is preparing to go into somewhat of a lockdown. Decision needs to be made on what you're going to do.
I'm gonna check this door.
I was just going to say, somebody should check that door.
This one here,
Correct.
you may check it.
I have the swipey thing if we need it.
Appears to be locked.
I may come check this door.
Okay, I'm just going to, with the key card, try and open the door.
And as you swipe the rune card across the flat panel on the door, the rune lights up, and the door, you hear that audible click of the door lock, and it unlocks.
Okay, I'm going to peek through.
Now open the door. There's just a small room. The one thing that does stand out to you, even though it doesn't show on the map there, is the floor is stained with old blood, and halfway up the back wall. You get the impression this may or may not be somewhere where they bring someone to interrogate them.
We could hide in here. I mean,
There's not a lot of room. It's literally a 5 foot by 5 foot room.
Probably won't fit.
You want us to stack in there the room we can't escape from while they look for intruders. Yes.
I think our best bet is to go down this hallway and see if we find a way out.
I still vote we leave. $90
I don't know.
and a health
how we-
potion. It's not bad for a day's work. Considering we didn't have a
140
lot
and
to
a health
begin with.
potion.
Yeah.
The other
I mean,
fella had
Salati
50.
seems to have all of our money anyway.
I'll look after it. It's all good. We've made 140 so far out of these fellas,
Because we had, there was 35 and 55, so.
and then a 50 out of the sentry, the guy that we got the sentry key off as well. Or did you not see me take that? Damn it!
I just.
I don't remember.
But yes, by all means, let's check these doors in this hallway. And
I mean, we could always go again, but then we're going to have the same problems getting back in.
I don't
If we-
intend to come back.
Well, if we leave, then they're going to be on alert every time we come. Unless
That's
you
what
know
I'm saying. I don't mean to come back. This is it. We do this now, or we don't come back.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I was going to say we can't go anywhere because we need to get this thing done. Shall we check these doors with the key cards?
Okay, just look for security cameras.
I wouldn't know what to look for.
I wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about anyway.
You know you've been, well, funny you say that, Armo. You know you've been watched somehow. So, I will say, Arme specifically, Roll an Arcana check for me. An 8. You know that there are ways and means of spying on certain people. Obviously, you would all have a somewhat of an understanding of the scrying spell and how that works. But you can't for the life you wrap your brain how they would do that in this situation. Like, the scrying spell is quite an intense spell. But they're doing it somehow.
We're probably watching us. Do you want me to open these doors down the hallway?
Might as well. It's the only way to go, really.
Well, I think that passageway went north, but either or.
Yeah.
Alright, I shall open the first door and have a peek with the swipe card.
Open away. You see what appears to be...
I can't see jack shit.
You move yourself in, just it'll unlock it because of your dark vision.
I can't see anything. I can't even see my character anymore.
Why not? Solante, stop moving.
know.
You guys move away from his character so you can see what he's doing. Move back out of the room.
I can see me, and that's it.
I'll turn a light on for you.
Okay, I can see that now.
Turn the torch on for you so you can see it. So you see what appears to be, as you sort of look in, appears to be like an almost an elevator. You see a mechanical switch just on the inside of the door, which has a down arrow on it.
Oh, this might be some sort of... Wait, I'm not sure I have enough intelligence to know what an elevator is.
You can see a mechanical switch with an arrow on it. You can only assume that it means this goes down, or there's something weird about this room anyway.
There's a thing in here which has got an arrow on it pointing downwards.
I mean, you can literally see the floor. You can see the gaps around the outside of the floor. Like there's a platform in this area, and you can see that it's not part of the walls. Like there's a definite gap around the edges.
Shall we all pile in and go down?
Just let me heal myself up first, and I'm going to use lay on hands on myself. Which
No
I clicked
worries.
on prematurely.
Not a problem.
Did we work out how to get that to work?
Use the macro.
That's right.
So make sure you've got yourself selected, like your token selected. I think it's just highlighted. And if you use the macro, it should work. Or you may have to target yourself. I can't remember.
That's right. How do you get the manual macro bar?
You click on the arrow above the folder, and it should bring it up.
There we go.
Let me know if that works. Manus.
Invalid.
That's interesting.
I'll try from...
Yeah, because you'll have to like cast it to get 1 hit point each time, which is weird.
Yeah, that's what I had to do when I used it.
Because I had 25 and I was going to use 9 to...
Okay, so just heal yourself. Don't worry about the cast on it. You just have to take note of how much you used. It's probably the easiest way to deal with that at this stage, and just heal yourself back to max. No problem. So with that, looking at this space, it's only big enough for probably 2 people to fit in at any given time. It's 10 foot by 5 foot, so you'd probably get all 4 of you in there just.
Well, if Manus doesn't
think
mind, I
that's-
suppose I could sit on his back.
Yeah. I guess that's fine.
Thank you. And I pat him on the knee. You're going to have to lift me up, though.
So at this
Does say
stage,
gingerly.
as you're sort of saying this and you're sort of hanging out the front of the door here, could you roll a perception check for me, just quickly, before you all start piling into this elevator? "22. You notice a smell coming from this room. It's an odd smell. It's weird. Kind of hard to explain. A little bit salty. Not unlike seaweed in some respects. Just that kind of salty, briny smell. And then as you sort of, again, looking in the door and you sort of reach in to have a look at the mechanism, something drops onto your hand. Splat. You pull your hand back and it's wet and sticky. Not unlike saliva. And with a 22, you notice, as you sort of peer in again to sort of see where it come from, you notice in the very top of this space, you swear you saw an eye open and close.
I pull my head in and slam the door shut. If I'm able to.
You should be able to. Do you lock the door again with a keycard? Is the question.
Yes, I would. If I assume I'd know to be able to do that.
It's up to you. I mean, you can either lock it or not. I mean, you have the keycard. You know it unlocked it. You can only assume that it would lock it as well.
Yeah, I'd swipe it again just to be sure.
Okay, as you do so, the door does lock. As you do that, a loud thud is heard from the inside. And you see this stuff sort of ooze out from under the door a little bit and towards your feet, and it stinks. Almost like bad breath smell. That kind of stench comes from it. So Thrixel, you probably would have not seen what he saw, but you definitely would have smelt the smell and watched Ame just pull the door close and lock it and sort of turn to you and give you a really surprised look. I'll turn it over to you guys.
I saw something really eye-ish looking, and I've got stuff on my hand which even I find disgusting. And
Now there's a feat.
I heard something really big go thud, so I shut the door as quickly as possible just in case it was a squid monster.
Squid
Okay.
It's on
monster.
my hand.
Roll what do I get you to roll? Roll intelligence check, Ame. Let's see if you can, if Ame can determine what this might have been. The DC is relatively high for this.
Well, that's good because I don't have a
Oh
lot of
wow, 19. Ame's a bit more intelligent than given credit for, it seems. You think for a moment as you're describing this to Thrixel, and instantly you think, oh, of course. The fucking mimic. Has to be. Can't be anything else.
I think it was a mimic.
Now,
Well,
commonly,
that can't be a good thing.
yeah. So for everyone else, commonly a mimic is normally, you normally see them in chests or chairs or rugs. It would be very unusual to have a mimic of this size, because what you saw was rather large.
Pleased we didn't walk into that then.
You
So I wonder-
almost just got eaten.
Wonder if the other two doors hide the same, or if it's a case of people know which ones to go into.
I don't know. I'm just glad we didn't go on that one. So, question:
Good
do you
thing.
want me to open another door? Because whatever's on my hand stinks.
Definitely need to check the other doors.
We do.
Alrighty. Next door. Actually, first thing he's gonna do is he's gonna put his head against the door to see if he can hear anything.
Roll perception. You hear nothing.
Yes.
All
I
is
do.
quiet behind this door. It unlocks as you swipe the card.
Swipe the card, open the door.
You see
Look
the same
in,
thing. You see an elevator, it seems. You look up, there's nothing unusual on the ceiling that you can see. Same sort of setup, same mechanism on the inside of the door.
Okay, I don't see anything in this one.
How does it smell? Or do you want one of us to come and have a sniff?
I can still smell my hand, so...
Well, maybe one of us ought to poke our little noses in.
whomever's directly in front of me, which I'm sure is Thrixel, he's going to hand Thrixel the card, and then he's going to move out of the way, just in case Thrixel needs to. I'm giving you the card just in case you need to shut in a hurry.
All right, so Thrixel, what are you doing as the card is handed to you?
I'm going to check to see how this room is feeling.
Are you going to step into it, or are you going to wait, just have a look? What exact? Give me a description of what you're doing.
I'm gonna have peek my head in, kind of look around, see if there's anything I notice out of the ordinary.
Anything in particular, or just general something that stands out, perhaps?
Seeing if it's trapped.
Okay, roll a. Now, the thing is, if you're looking for a trap specifically, you would have to be physically looking. So it'd be an investigation check. You would have to probably cross the threshold. If you just wanted to observe the room to see if you could see anything that would stand out in that nature. So are you hands-on or not hands-on is the question.
Not hands-on.
Okay, so a perception check from the door. The reason I ask is that the DC would be different depending on what you were doing. So with a 23, Thrixel, you've done this a time or two before, and it's probably the reason you've been part of this group, perhaps. You look around and you look at the floor, and you look at this mechanism, sort of backwards and forwards. You know full. You know a trap when you see one. It's very well done. The construction of it is brilliant. Looks identical to the other room as you sort of glanced in the other room before. It looks just the same. But you notice that slight difference in the paneling on the floor, where it is joined at the edges. And you can spy, just off to one side, you tilt your head just right, you can spy a hinge mechanism, which would lead you to believe that if you set foot in this room, that floor is going to give way and fall away underneath your feet.
So I would lock the door and close it.
Nice roll, Jen. Nice roll. It's a DC 18 on that roll, so well done.
Ooh. And I'd hand the card back to Ame.
Alrighty.
There is a falling false floor trap in there.
How are we faring down there, gentlemen?
2 out of 3 are bogeys.
Do you move to the third and final door?
I would if I was you.
Sure, why not? Swipe the card and have a peek.
And this room looks significantly different than the other two. A very base elevator with on the floor, not on the wall, but on the floor, a very rudimentary mechanical lever and a platform.
Just stick his head in, look up and look down just to...
Everything looks normal and fine. Well, it looks like regular stone. Like, this isn't fine marble like the other rooms were. You get the impression the other rooms are designed specifically to draw people in because of the way they look.
This one looks like a dead end. Maybe you should have a look through, so swap places. Squeeze past.
You see the same thing? Platform,
Yep.
lever.
He holds out the key card just in case he needs it in a hurry.
This looks a little more normal.
Mute yourself, Nutty. You're typing. We can
Oh
hear
shit!
everything.
Sorry.
No, he's playing the drums.
Oh, sorry. I was just replying to
I'm gonna walk into this one.
So you step in. I need you to roll. No, I'm kidding. You're good. You step in, and as you do, you would have been automatically transported to the next scene. So just wait there. You're as you step in, Ame, you would have seen the platform descend as Thrixel steps onto it, and Thrixel sort of waves to you as he descends downward and disappears into the darkness.
I think this room just followed Drixel. He's not here anymore. He'll call that out to the people down the hallway.
So a room 8 Thrixel is what you're saying.
Well, he stepped into this room and he disappeared into the floor. Like, slowly, but surely.
Maybe we should go after him.
I suppose. You know, I've heard rumors of this sort of stuff in the Tomb of Horrors. We're in Voland, aren't we? We aren't.
Unless we've teleported somewhere, I'm pretty sure we're still in Voland.
Yeah.
Indeed, you would be aware the Tomb of Horrors is to the northeast of the capital city. Probably a week or two's journey, but it is definitely in this vicinity. So if you are following your friend Thrixel, move into the room and you will indeed follow Thrixel to where he is gone.
So, has the floor gone with him, or is the floor still there? Or
The floor, like I said, it's an elevator. So literally, as he stepped in, he's hit because it's done automatic, but he's hit the switch and he's lowered down. And then, as you've been talking to your friends, the floor's come back up without Thrixel on it.
okay,
So it's literally an elevator.
all right. So he's obviously disappeared. So we might as well go after him.
Can we all fit in it at the same time?
Yeah, you move in one. You move in one at a time, and it'll automatically teleport you to where you need to go. So, but you would all essentially fit together.
I'm gone. I walk into the room and vanish apparently.
So, as you step out of the elevator on the bottom, I will wait till everyone's loaded. I know it might just let me know when you're all loaded in.
Well, hello.
Yeah, I'm good.
So,
Oh yeah, now I am.
so it might take a little while. But as you all step into this narrow corridor here, you see yourself in what seems to be just this different flooring, different walling from the casino above. This is a solid stone wall. Looks like it might have been carved from the earth itself, but the floor has been carved and set in cobblestone as well. It is clean. It is not dusty and damp and dreary as you would obviously assume would be in a place like this. I've done it again. You see a door to your right.
Where did we come from?
From here.
Okay, sweet.
But you'll also have a set of double doors.
These funky
Ahead of you
appearing
there.
doors are crazy.
I know. That's my bad for not putting the door in. What you do, however, here is, at first you thought you might have heard voices coming from this room. You're not sure, but they stopped almost immediately as you stepped out of this elevator. And now it's really eerie. It's just nothing but silence in here.
I'm really worried, guys. This is really weird.
This
Would
might
I have heard anything different while I was waiting for them?
You would have heard the voices as well. Like this again, within sort of moments, we're talking maybe a minute between the time you rode down and they came down. You couldn't hear any voices to begin with until the elevator came down for the second time, and then you heard the muffled voices. And then the moment your friends stepped out, they stopped. What you all did hear, however, was just this. It was an odd, eerie, sort of almost like a moan, sort of carrying on the echo of this place. Like it's stone and stone, that sort of reverberation of stone, a large stone hallway. It was almost like a voice carrying on it, this very weird noise.
Does anyone have a way to stop this up-down mechanical thing from going back up? Assuming it hasn't already. Maybe something in the gap or something.
I assume there's a thing to swipe it to make it come back down.
I mean, there is a switch in it.
Yeah, I don't want it broken. I just would like it if nobody came in behind us from where we came.
Would I see any way to disable it in a fashion with like a crowbar, hammer?
I mean, anything can be broken. You know that.
Yeah.
If you're looking specifically for a place to maybe stop it from moving with a crowbar, you could potentially do that. Roll an intelligence check for me. Because I mean, you're not proficient in any kind of engineering or
Right.
that kind of craft. So just a straight intelligence. I mean, you could give it a go, but you're not sure that you wouldn't break it, which would mean that you guys would have no way of getting out.
I could break it.
What we could do is we could just
No.
take a big crap on the ground, and if somebody comes out from there, then they'll step in it and go, ah, and we'll be able to hear them coming.
I just look at Ame and shake my head. Really?
May,
Well,
you
I
got
look
any
up
fish?
at Ame.
I feel like we should have parted ways at Catan. I really do.
Oi, who's
Well, it
out
seems like
there?
we can't- Oh,
Housekeeping.
What?
I've got the uniform in my bag still, yeah? I'll
Yeah,
throw it on
and
quickly.
that takes a lot longer than quickly.
Damn it.
As you are standing there discussing this, you hear a voice from this room, and you hear heavy footsteps come to the door, and the door swings open, and out steps a large ogre carrying a large weapon. Who?
Grog? Not Grog.
Who the
Oh,
fuck
damn
are
it, I was
you?
looking for Grog.
What the fuck are you guys doing down here?
I was looking for Grog. We had such a connection.
Fuck off.
And now I can't find him. But you're rather handsome.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna take a step this way.
Don't you fucking move, sunshine. Step back that way. And he raises his club towards you as you take a step. Do you move back or do you keep going?
I move back.
He reaches into his pouch and pulls out the sending stone that you would recognise. Mr. Stone.
As he grabs it, I'm gonna use my stone rune as a reaction.
Can you use it
at
as a
the end of
reaction?
It is a reaction, and it normally would be at the end of someone's turn. But since
So
we're
you
not
wouldn't be able to do
initiated-
it. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it in this moment. You'd have to wait till he does something before you're able to do it. But I'll give you guys a reaction if you have one to react to him. He's big. He's got his club, and he's just reached and grabbed the sending stone. It's in his hand, and he's just literally said "Mr. Stone" into the sending stone. So we'll go around. Start with Manus. You seem because you're kind of right there in front. So how do you react to the stone?
Make a grab for the stone.
You gonna make a grab for it?
Yeah.
Dex versus Dex in that regard, then.
Good times. My Dex is great. It's terrific.
His isn't that great either, but just
Dex.
straight Dex check. Yep. Versus his Dex. So we've got. Yeah. You're faster than he is. Just. He got an 8. And you got a 13, so you're good. So as he reaches out and says the words Mr. Stone, you reach for him to snatch it from his grasp. And he looks at you and goes, "That wasn't wise."
No.
He's got a pet rock too.
I would say at this point, reactions regardless, as you've snatched it from his hand, he's taken that as a hostile movement. And we will go into initiative. So I will need everybody to roll initiative, please. As he is not happy about you snatching the stone from him. You also at this point, this is a point of reference, you hear the voice over the stone come back. Grieg, report. Is someone here? And then nothing. So, with that, Salanthi, you get the initiative on this, it seems. As the ogre steps back into a defensive stance. We'll begin our combat so we exactly have what we're at there. So there we go, your turn.
I am going to cast Chill Touch.
If you're going to cast Chill Touch, I believe you need to be touching him, or is it a roll to hit?
That's a roll to hit.
Okay, so
Within
target him.
20 feet.
Yep, target him and Chill Touch.
Hitting.
You didn't target him.
I did target him.
You sure? It doesn't show the dot on my thing? It's not showing that you've targeted him. Now it has.
It has him targeted.
Now it does.
Now it is? Okay, now I'll roll again, okay?
Don't roll again.
I won't roll it again.
You missed anyway.
Crap.
You know, I know you didn't target him because the animation didn't work. But anywho, you missed. As Salanthi, you instinctually reach out to your necrotic energy and strikes the wall beside him. He turns and sort of grins at you and laughs. Is that your turn? You're going to move? If it's your turn, end your turn.
That is my turn. I'm just going to hide behind Manus right where I am.
It is his turn. And he will move himself around Manus. Into this position here. And he will strike at you, Manus, as you grab the stone from his hand. He raises his club, strikes down with a 14 to hit, which I believe misses.
Does not.
You do you have a shield, or you just got the two-handed sword, right?
Just a two-handed sword. I've unequipped my shield.
No worries. So as he brings the club up and smashes down, you raise your sword, defending yourself, parrying the blow. So at this time you hear from the room, "Oi, what's going on out there? Intruders!" And another ogre steps forward. And we'll roll his initiative. And he will join. That is that ogre's turn, however. Manus, it is now your turn.
Oh boy. I'm just gonna hit because I've got nothing else left to do. I'm gonna grab my greatsword and try and thwack him.
No worries. Thwack away, good sir. I believe that will be that'll hit. 6
Nice.
points of slashing damage as you slash forward with your greatsword. Slash him across the
And I'll
forearm.
Come back the other way.
That will also hit. Another 7 points of slashing damage. Double attack, forward and back, moving relatively quickly for a large entity as our Manus.
And that will end my turn.
And that'll end your turn. Thrixel, you're up.
You're muted.
I'm going to use Giant's Might.
Giant's
So
Might,
I'm-
which is going to do
That
what?
is where I get bigger. That is where I get...
You do not have the room right now. You have Thrixel. You've got Arme behind you. You've got Manus right beside you, and you've got an ogre right in front of you. You know you don't have the room. I don't want you to waste this. At the moment, you do not have the room to enlarge yourself. If you use it, it will fail.
Okay. Then I will just attack.
Yeah, like I said, you will know at the moment, right at this point in time, you do not have the room to enlarge yourself without potentially hurting one of your friends.
I will just attack.
You need just a little bit more space. $14 hits, 10 points of slashing damage. Your second attack. That will miss. He defends your second, parrying it to one side with his club. Your offhand attack as a bonus action, unless you're going to use it for something else.
Nope, I'm going to attack.
Offhand attack is a bonus action. That hits. Further 10 points of slashing damage. He is not looking healthy. You've opened up several wounds across his body.
That'll be my turn.
It's now this guy's turn. He comes through the door, but does not go straight into combat. Goes to this door and opens it. Steps through and turns. This way, sir, this way. Mate, it's now your turn.
Alright. First thing I want to do is I want to use my channel divinity to regain a level 2 spell slot, but I don't know how to do that from this.
Let me have a look. So you want to, what spell are you trying to cast? You want to regain a spell slot?
No, I can use it to just regain a level 2, can't I? And then
Yep. What?
Well,
Yeah, I can do that for you.
It's just a bonus action to regain that.
Yep. So on your sheet now, you should see that you've got a level 2 spell slot back. You might have to open and close it to see it.
Quick question, DM.
Yes.
Would I be able to hit him as he walked past me?
Yes, if you wish to. I'll give you an attack opportunity.
Mhm.
Okay, so we get that,
8 points of damage. 11 points of damage. Nice. I'll allow that.
Nice. Thank you.
So let me know if you can see that now on your sheet.
No, I can't see that.
That's right. It's weird because I've got it on mine. You should be able to cast a spell. What spell are you trying to cast?
I wasn't going to try and cast a spell, I just wanted this second level spell slot.
Just let me know when you come to... What I'm saying is when it comes time, let me know what you're trying to cast. And if you can't cast it, I'll do it for you.
Sweet is.
Yeah, because I've given the slot back on my end. So it should show on yours. I'm not sure why that doesn't work.
I am going to move past my people to there.
Yes.
And then I am going to attempt to shove the guy that I'm targeting in order to knock him prone.
This guy here.
Yes.
Okay. So, is that an ability you have, or is it just something you want to try and do?
I thought it was just a simple action. Use it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking. Is it a specific ability, or is it just an action you want to do?
Just an action.
Okay, so that'll be strength versus strength.
Oh yeah, that's right. We'll do that one.
So just a strength ability check versus a strength ability check. Seems you're both as strong as each other.
Oh shit.
So your check, you're unable to knock him prone. As you throw your shoulder into him, he throws his shoulder into you, and you guys are a little bit of an impasse here. So you kind of locked in a struggle of almost like a tug of war, but the other way around. You're trying to push each other. So it does not have the effect that you hoped.
Alrighty then, I am going to move one more bit around, just to, yeah, and then I'm going to end my turn there.
No worries. Salanth, back to you.
Right, I am going to move to here in the hopes that I can see that guy and cast
What's
Eldritch.
that guy? You got to be a bit
The one
more
on the other
specific.
side of the door.
You can ping him. This is why we have pings.
I can't remember how to ping, but I've got him.
Hold. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna Eldritch Blast him.
Roll to hit. That hits. You get 2 of these, I believe.
Yep, and I'll do it again.
4 points of force damage.
Oh wow! And I think
Second
that
one
might
misses,
miss.
unfortunately, striking the wall behind him with a loud report as it strikes the wall.
And that'll end my turn.
That'll end your turn. And it's at this point a very well-dressed individual comes to the doorway and simply says, "Oh, this just will not do. Stand down. You are no match for my guard. You have been caught, as have many more before you. I do not have any problem with you dying this day, but perhaps an arrangement might be made."
You must be Are you the infamous Mr. Stone?
The one and only, and he bows deeply.
Could I please have your autograph?
Don't play games with me, little girl. You have broken into
But
my
you-
establishment with the intent to steal from me.
We don't want
And
to
you
steal
now
anything. We just want
now
to
play
kill
silly
you.
little games and try and joke. I can have you killed on the spot. Do
Can I
not
try
take
and
me
persuade
for
him
a
that we're
fool.
just there to see him, and that's really why we came down?
What are you trying to do?
Persuade him that that's the reason that we're there, is actually to see him.
Disadvantage.
Fuck.
And the DC will be very, very high because this man is not stupid.
Damn it. Can but try.
You can but try, surely. Of course. High rolls. High rolls, though. High rolls from Salanthi. Unfortunately, Mr. Stone... Ha! 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 Please. Do not insult my intelligence. I have not gotten to the place that I am in by not knowing who my enemies are. You are not the first that Mr. Nillaby has sent to obtain this ledger. I was on to you the moment you set foot into this place. Now, once again, lay down your arms. And let's talk like civilized individuals, shall we? Or not.
I look at the guys and say, let's put down our weapons.
I can do civilized. But up to you guys.
Manus would, but I mean that's what he wanted all along. So he would put his sword down.
And as you're talking, Stone is joined by a slightly larger, different coloured minotaur than you saw earlier. This guy is huge. And he sort of grunts and take your weapons. Put them up against the wall. And both these ogres sort of step through, stand either side. We will end our combat there. And
I don't know if I'd lay down my weapons, but I'd be civilized.
You'd have no choice unless you want to be killed. That is your choice to make, Thrixel. As the ogres move forward to take your weapons from you, do you give up your weapon? Manus,
Yep.
as the ogre steps forward and reaches out and grabs your sword, do you allow him to take it?
Yeah.
Salant,
Unequip it.
you... Seems that Mr. Stone is not silly, however. The ogre walks forward to you and looks at you, looks over at Mr. Stone. Gag her, if you will.
I have a question.
And bind her hands. Magic is not so easily cast when you cannot speak or move. Forgive me. Precautions, my dear. Do you allow yourself to be... Hang on a minute. Still, just wait your turn.
Walk over and put my hands up.
You wouldn't have to walk
Venom.
over. He'd come to you. So do you allow him to gag and bind you?
No point not.
Okay. Ame, your turn. As the ogres step forward and attempt to remove your shield and mace.
Ame would take his Morning Star and hold it, handle out for him, and then hold up his shield. Here you go.
And he does so. Thrixel, as the other of the ogres moves towards you to remove your weapons, what do you do?
So I have a question. Would I know that he is intently meaning to be like...
You got no idea.
Honest?
You can roll an
No.
insight check if you want. You got
Right,
no
that-
idea. If you want to roll an insight to see if you can gauge the sincerity of what he's saying, that is up to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Roll insight, please. Behind, I'll show you. I should show. I'll show you what he looks like. Where is Mr. Stone in my list of players here? One second, because everything has changed on me. And review character artwork. So this is what you see. A very fine dressed man with pointed ears, wears very big glasses with a purple lens in them. He's very finely dressed, very well tailored. And when he smiles, this is probably the one thing you probably notice, but as he smiles, as he talks to you, you can see the hint of, can only be described as fanged teeth, which is a little unusual. And his hair is kind of odd, even though it looks just like brown normal hair in the picture there. His hair seems to move on its own on occasion. It's kind of almost pulled back and tied back, but it seems to move. Kind of weird. It's kind of odd. So yeah, Thrixel, you sort of hesitate for a moment before doing anything, and sort of try and gauge the sincerity of this man, and you just find it really hard to read him. You're not sure.
Yeah,
What do you
seeing
do?
everyone else, I would hand over my weapons
So
begrudgingly.
just make sure you unequipped your weapons. If you don't know how to do that, don't panic. We'll say you don't have them. It's not a big issue. As you hand your weapons over, and Mr. Stone, then satisfied, steps forward. I'll just move everyone sort of. This is not indicative to where you are in this room. You're sort of all lined up together at this point. I'll sort of move into this for story-wise here. Damn fly. This large minotaur steps right into this doorway, and Mr. Stone steps forward, and again bows. So I'm to assume that I'm correct, that one Nilliby Gaton is responsible for this group entering my home, my dominion. And he's addressing you, Manus, directly.
Honestly, I don't remember his name.
You strike me as an intelligent man, and I'm not going to be foolish enough to lie to you. You know who sent us and why, you've said. And you are
Indeed.
correct.
And what meager coin was offered?
That's not something Manus would remember. He's only here to keep these others safe.
Is that what you tell him?
That's what I tell him. These are my charges and I keep them safe. He doesn't remember how much was offered.
I can't remember either.
I don't think any of us remember.
Well, that's interesting. I believe it was a sum of about 5,000 gold pieces from memory. I would imagine Thrixel would be the one that would remember that.
I just wrote it. I just wrote down reward big dollars.
I would have thought Salanthi would have been the one to have remembered that as well.
She's gagged, so she can't say.
So she can't say anything at the moment, which is fair. He looks at you and says, well, it appears that you have been caught. Therefore, your task has failed in protecting your wards, as you call them. Though I do not blame you specifically, you're not the first, nor shall you be the last to try and infiltrate these walls. Although you have shed light on a specific way in that I thought hidden, not easily found. This shall be rectified, I assure you. Now to what to do with you is the question. I've not risen to the position I am in by treating things like this lightly, you understand. I have a reputation to uphold after all. But I'm also not ruthless in my intent. You obviously have worked on the opposite side of the law. Were you not, you would not even be here. You're certainly not working for the city guard, and nor is Nillaby, a jealous sycophant. Loses money to my establishment and wants to bring me down because he's a loser. It's a joke at best. And then he hires individuals such as yourselves and gets many of them killed to satisfy his morbid curiosity on the runnings of my business. So, an offer I present to you and your companion. You are resourceful, and resourceful individuals hold some merit in my line of work. You, Manus, from what I was able to observe, you are not fond of violence, it seems. Yet when the time calls for it, you are quite adept at it.
It is true.
Jara. He turns and looks over his shoulder. This one bested your cousin in combat. Is that not so? He did. Cleft him in twain, I believe. Almost completely. You can see the grimace come across Jara's face. He sort of agrees, snorts at Alphinius. So, Jara, would you believe that cooler heads prevail in certain situations before violence is necessary? That's right. So, Manus, is it? I believe it was your name.
It is.
How does employment suit you? Steady? Consistent? And the onset of violence would be your responsibility to determine.
As I said, these three are my wards and I protect them. If you can offer their safe passage, I'm happy to do whatever you ask.
You see, I'm a man of my word. You still have defiled these halls, attempted to steal from me. An example must be set. Let me see. Jara, who would you say is responsible for these individuals getting as far as they did? And you can see a nervous look come over Jara's face. This large minotaur standing behind him. As Stone turns and looks at him, and you see Stone reach up and grab both sides of his glasses and remove the glasses from his face. And all of you, even though Stone's back is turned, the ogres are watching you, and you see Jara's eyes widen in fear. And in almost an instant, you watch as Jara steps back, staggers backwards into the hallway, to about there. As he starts staggering back, you watch from his ankles upwards, lines of marbling stone start to crack and form around his ankles and up his body slowly. to a point where he eventually starts to freeze in place, and he lets out a low guttural sort of growl slash bellow as that stone creeps up to his neck and down his throat, and then before you stands nothing but a marbled statue of a minotaur. And Mr. Stone replaces his glasses, refolds his hands, and turns back towards you. And looks to you, Manus. Well, it seems position has opened up on my staff. Well paid. The only cost is loyalty. Failure will not be tolerated. And as such, my personal cooler slash bodyguard, and he motions to the statue, allowed you to exploit a hidden passage into my domain. This cannot be allowed to happen again, you understand?
Certainly.
While my methods may be shocking to some, under my employment, you will want for nothing. Food, gold, company, if you so wish it, and your friends' lives. You have my word. And he gives you a deep bow. What say you?
Can I roll an insight check?
You certainly can. All of you can if you wish. Because he is essentially offering to spare you all. And it's not just employment for you, Manus, too. You get the impression that he's offering a position on the staff for all of you. So, Ame with a 22. All high insights, natural 20 from Thrixel. So we've got some good insight rolls here, guys. Natural 20 up there. So I'd say with all of those insights, all except for Manus, which was 15, but even then, a 15 is good enough. You, even though you cannot see his eyes, I think by now you probably realize you don't want to see his eyes. You get the distinct impression that he is legitimately offering you a job where you will be paid well. And from what you've gathered in the time that you've been here anyway, you know that these guys get paid well because none of them stood down in the face of danger. They all seemed happy enough in what they were doing, which normally would denote well rewarded and well paid individuals, for them not to even care about breaking the law, basically. So the decision is in your hands, Manus, at this point.
Manus turns to the others. He's like, you know, I've done my best to protect you, but I've also never made your choices for you. When you chose violence, I didn't stand in your way. This choice is yours. I won't make it for you. But I agree, and I will work for him if it will keep you all safe. But that decision now is yours.
So with that, it's gonna be 1 second, Nutty. With that, Mr. Stone himself walks forward a couple more paces and stands in front of you, Ame. A turtle in these lands is not usual. You have many skills that would serve me well. All the fish you can eat. of course. I may even have a ship or two that may need attending from time to time. I do believe the open ocean appeals to you. And he reaches a hand out for your Morning Star, which is handed to him. And he hands it to you in a gesture basically saying accept it. And that would be your answer. Like you don't actually have to say it. If you accept it, depending on what you do in that moment, will determine your answer.
He holds out his hand to get the Morning Star and says, "You had me at fish."
Of course.
And he bows back to him, as he has seen him do.
And he bows to you as well, with respect. He then turns towards you, Thrixel, and grabs both your swords from the ogre behind him, one in each hand, just below the handles. So like he's holding the blades just below the crossguard, and walks directly up to you and literally holds them both out to you. And what say you, Thrixel of the Lizard Folk? Not many of you on the surface around here. I believe you would be best suited working for me. You have some amazing talents. I'm sure I can put them to good use.
But will I be known?
Of course. If you wish to be known, your deeds will be known wide and far.
And with
You will
that,
not gain as much fame as I, of course, but working for me, everyone will know who you are.
And with that, he'd take the two swords.
Wise decision, my young friend. I can see you going far. Now for you, little one. And he unbinds your hands. With a clawed finger, he removes your gag.
That tasted like old socks.
Forgive me for such barbaric behavior, but as I said, I'm not a simple man. I know what you're capable of and what you need to achieve your goals. Although where you draw your power is not common with the warlock. We may be able to aid you in such an endeavor to grow stronger with a more appropriate patron in the future, if you wish it, of course. I know it's a difficult choice to make, but my word is my word. Even if you refuse, you will be set free.
Well, we're kind of a team, us four. And if Manus is okay, then I'm okay with that too.
Indeed. And he gives you a deep bow.
She curtsies.
Well then, Manus and your friends, welcome aboard. You'll find that you'll enjoy this line of work, much more fitting for your skill set than previous employment. And as I've said, the onset of violence will be your decision to make, Manus, as my new head of security. If you deem it necessary, individuals will be dealt with in appropriate manner. If not, the guard will follow your lead. However, the one condition to this: those that try to cheat me and steal from me will meet Jara's fate. And will join him in the gallery further inside the vault. Agreed?
As you say.
Sounds fair.
We'll discuss terms of payment at a later date, but rest assured, you'll be pleasantly surprised. That small sum that you were offered as a group to steal, pittance in what you'll be paid as an individual. Now, if you would be so kind, accompany me, I shall show you what you have signed up for. And he leads you on a little tour of his vault.
We get to see the map.
So what I'm going to do here, guys, is we're going to move poor Jar out of the way. I'll get you to follow me, ladies and germs. So you will follow Orphinius. He's going to come this way first. So we're going to come through the door and come to your right.
On my way past this guy, I'm just going to ask for my shield.
You would have handed all that back as well, so you're able to get all your stuff back. So essentially what you guys can do if you want, don't click on anything because that will be bad for you. But have an explore. Because essentially we're going to call that would be the end of this session, ladies and gentlemen. As the individuals caught, found out, and now in the employment of one Orphinius Stone, who, just as a point of reference, is a Medusa, which is why he didn't really want to see his eyes, because he would have turned you to stone, as he did with poor Jara. So, actually, what I might do is save you guys moving around all over the place. I'm going to show everybody the map. This makes it a whole lot easier.
Oh wow.
So this is where you guys were at. So obviously you had the entrance into the place here. Now in this room here in the center where Thrixel and Arme are, this is a gallery. I'm not going to be running this I'm not going to be running this again, so I'm quite happy to tell you guys exactly what you were at. So in this room here, the offices, we'll go around. So in Orphinius' personal offices, which is where he keeps his files, which is where you would have found the ledger. In this room, obviously, is his bedroom, his office, his filing cabinets. There is treasure in here. That obviously is the financial reports and the ledger that you're looking for. There's also a bottle of basilisk oil, which is a way to reverse the process of being turned into stone by a Medusa or a basilisk. Well, actually turned you into stone. There's the flesh to life, which does the opposite in this room. In the little gallery here in the center, I wonder if this will work now. I've done it. It should do. So, Thrixel, can I get you to go over to the sword that has got the rainbow in it?
Yes.
And double click on the sword.
Don't do it.
I want to see if it's going to work.
Well, I might not be close enough.
It's not going to work. Damn it. I wondered whether it would. But I can do it, and it should work. A second here. Can you hear that?
Yes.
So, if you had double-clicked on any one of these items in this room, or go to pick any of these items up when you were here, that wall would close and the room would fill with water, essentially drowning you.
Shit.
However, Thrixel, I know, so there you go. I'll open that door up. Yeah, so Thrixel has an ability which would enable him to breathe underwater anyway, so that would have been a possible way out for you guys. So if you'd made it that far, someone possibly could have drowned. Now in this area here, if we scroll out, you'll see there's a couple of long rooms to the left of the map. So there's one, two, three long rooms and a big one. So you've got the room which says the Silver Vault, which is this one here. And then there's the gold, the Gems Vault, and then there's the Gold Vault. Those rooms were loaded full of silver, gold, and gems. Thousands upon thousands of gold worth. The gold room alone had enough, I think it was something like 85,000 gold. I know 750,000 gold pieces worth of gold. Just so you know what you were getting yourself into. I don't think you guys would have made it regardless. Your group makeup was a little off for this kind of endeavor, but you guys did pretty well. I think you did reasonably well. And then no other encounters here in this area except for that trap. The gold rooms and stuff had nothing in them. Up in the very top of the map where the gallery is, however, if you'd gone in there and triggered the I think Thrix will walk across that. Let's see if it's going to work.
It's Ame.
Oh, Ame, sorry, yes. Yeah. So
I heard
again,
that.
the door closed behind you. Or it didn't really close behind you. It essentially drops these three. Let's show the chat. So in this room here, it drops 3 gelatinous cubes, and I believe it locks you in the room. So we'll open it up there just to let the other guys in. But yeah, there would have been an encounter with 3 gelatinous cubes there as well. So the chances of you guys getting out of this place alive was pretty slim. I think you did pretty well, regardless. So I know we finished early, this is why we've got plenty of time to do this. Any questions from the players about the upper level? So we'll go back up to the upper level and we'll do the same thing up there.
Was there any other way to get down there?
No. That was the only way.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, unfortunately that was the only way down. So again, we'll show.
Didn't destroy that lift.
So again, just to give you an idea of what you guys were looking at on a larger scale. So you guys can zoom in and out. I'm going to zoom out for the chat, so you can zoom out and have a good look around the map.
So basically, it was just one big circuit. You'd just end up
more or less, yeah. So obviously, where you guys came in, the entrance, you could have gone through that set of doors there, and that's where the staff entrance was through the sewer down the bottom there. Now we talked about you being scryed upon. This area here, the armory, this armory here, which is where the patrons' weapons were stored, the main casino floor, and I believe the kitchen were being watched from this small room at the south where the Minotaur's sitting at the desk. If you zoom in on that room, you'll see the northern wall has a whole bunch of frames on it, which is basically a large, basically scrying mirrors. So they had eyes on a lot of places within the casino itself. You could have potentially avoided that if you'd come in this area here through the sewer and dealt with the guards there. Less likely to have raised an alarm, and if you'd killed the Minotaur in that room, you never would have been seen. Again, you're not to know any of that. That room that you thought was really important, that the ogre was standing beside, is just a storage room. It's just where they keep old chairs and tables. It's like a private conference room, so there wasn't actually anything in there at all.
Wow.
Which every time you talked about it, I'm thinking, I wonder if they're going to try and sneak their way in there, because that'd be funny as fuck.
Man, it's good you,
Oh, look
good
at
you
all the
didn't
tables and chairs.
hook your chariot to fucking grog, because apparently he ain't important. He's garden fucking...
But yeah, so obviously had the dining area, the main
crazy.
hall. Now, the first elevator was a elevator mimic. I'll tell you, had 164 hit points and would have killed you guys 100%. So
Would have
that
been dead.
what saved you, Arme, was that roll. That perception roll is what saved you. If you'd rolled 1 point lower, Arme would have been eaten. He would have been sucked into that thing and eaten alive. In the second one, which was with the trap that Thrixel discovered, drops 20 feet into a pit trap which has an ochre jelly in the bottom of it. So that the ochre jelly also only has 45 hit points, but it also does a lot of acid damage and really destroys mundane gear.
So
Which
we
is
would have been totally fucked.
someone,
basically.
one or more possibly, depending on how sort of it happened. Obviously, then you had the elevator down, but so you guys did reasonably well, honestly, for the group makeup, the decisions you made. I think you guys did reasonably well in the end. So let's get some moments from tonight's episode and maybe just some general questions from the players on the adventure. Obviously, this didn't go as long as we'd kind of hoped. We knew it wasn't going to go huge amount. It was possibly going to be 3, maybe 5 episodes, 8 out the outside. This now leaves us open for Roasted Chicken's mini adventure, which now I'm going to have to get hold of him and make sure that he's ready to go. So it'll either be next week, will either be a break or just chatting session, or be into his one. We'll have to, I'll definitely keep an eye on the Discord and the Gilded, because I will have to catch up and find out what the hell's going on with him. Otherwise, I'll start working on another one. Or we might even look at a quick one shot. We'll do something anyway. We'll definitely be looking at a just chatting session at the very outside. Maybe get some new and old DMs in the chat. Grim, if you're available, maybe next week, next Wednesday, we'll just talk some general DM stuff and player stuff as well. Just get some differing opinions on maybe some house rules and so just random D&D stuff. A bit of a chat and see what we can sort of get some different people in. Era, if you're keen, we might get you in and sort of talk to you about creating characters from a new player's perspective as well, because I know you've been creating a few characters and been involved in a few one shots here and there. So we'll go around the chat, go around the panel here first. We'll start with Nutty, because you haven't played for a while.
No.
So this is a little short, a little short for you, having a bit of a break away.
What the hell? No.
But in saying that, you're back at work next week, so I mean, you may not be able to play again for a little while anyway. So firstly, what made you choose a warlock?
I just thought, why not? Something different.
And what made you choose the celestial warlock of all warlocks?
Because sometimes
pardon me.
warlocks just misunderstood and really want to be healy creatures.
Okay, that's fair enough. And so your experience overall, I mean, I know it was only a little short sort of 3 episode thing, but
I really enjoyed this. It was like, what's gonna happen? Are we all gonna die like right now? And what's gonna happen next? Totally thrown by the end there. I was like, are we gonna kill these people? Or and then it's like, no, let's just surrender and work for them instead.
So obviously not a typical dungeon crawl, as most mini adventures or one shots generally tend to be. Did you enjoy this type of
It was good.
mini
I
campaign
really
as
enjoyed
opposed
this.
to a typical dungeon crawl? Basically, what I'm saying.
Totally. Absolutely, totally. It was completely different to any other one shot I've done or multi shot that I've played in, and I haven't played for a while. And I didn't die. Fuck, I didn't die.
No one died. That's always a good thing. be a first for Drax's characters for a while too, not dying.
Yeah, I was expecting
Yeah,
Drax to
man.
jump out from a bush and just stick me in the throat and then bugger off.
All right, Mr. Dill Cripple. Pretty much the same questions. What? Just a quick motivation behind the creation of Trixel. Why lizard
Well-
folk? Maybe why fighter?
The lizard folk was just it's very interesting, and I've never played any. Well, I've played a paladin in a very small one shot, but it was just very interesting to the dynamic of the lizard folk and how he's just like the background is his goal was to make his clan known because they're all dead. So it was like, okay, and I mean,
Oh, he's
both of
gonna
my
gain a
characters
name
in
for
your
himself.
Campaign, and both of my characters in your campaign have been like dual wielding,
Yeah.
esque because I love Drit Steward, so I'm a little fanboy there. So that's where the
Fair.
whole
Fair enough.
dual wield comes from. That's actually how I like got into D&D, was learning about Drits. So,
Awesome.
and the ruin knight thing was actually really cool.
It was different. Like a shame that you didn't quite get a chance to enlarge, because I had a macro for that to make you bigger.
Right.
Just unfortunately in the space you're in, there was just not enough room to make it happen. But something that we can definitely look in. I mean, Rune Knight is interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't like it when I first read it, but after spending a little more time talking about it with you, it's actually not too bad. And we'll get back to the moments in the session. So Mr. Grimm, who's now was playing in my Paradigm 2 campaign, and also plays a part in the Vampire the Masquerade coming up. This is the second mini adventure you've run with me.
I know, right?
So a Centaur paladin
Yeah.
this time round.
So I have spent a lot of days just creating random characters, and this is one I had sitting there. And I don't play humans unless I'm asked to, so I
Yep,
always
fair
pick.
enough.
But with picking the Redemption Paladin, I just had this idea of like this old sort of battle-worn centaur that spent a lot of time as a mercenary and killed indiscriminately, and then sort of found his path back, where he's like, you know, everyone deserves redemption and violence isn't the answer, because if you kill someone, they don't have that opportunity to sort of turn their life around the way he has. And I sort of saw him as like the protector of the group, but also allowing them to be themselves, because, you know, with Arme around you. Which was great.
I'd say with
I
Arme
love
and
that
Thrixel.
Yeah, I just love that aspect of like he's trying to keep them safe, but like they're also kind of unhinged every now and again. Like snacking on that Minotaur, man, it just, I don't know, man. Like some dark stuff.
No problem. And of course, our resident freaking trolly troll, Arme the turtle.
Well, I would like to say that I always wanted to try turtle because they don't seem to be a very common played race.
No, they're not.
What I've seen, I mean, I'm not the most experienced person in the world, but I've never seen. I've only heard of one occasion of one person actually ever using them.
I mean, I watch a lot of D&D in there as well, and I've seen a lot used as NPCs, but I've not seen a mini player character turtles.
I did enjoy it, but I wanted to be a paladin because I'd never been a paladin before. But the troll thing with that is turtles don't have any religious deities.
Exactly.
And, which is like having a paladin, which is basically a religious.
Yeah. I can see how that is, but at the same time, it's kind of like,
That was the degree of troll for my character, but being the fact that he had low intelligence, I was able to play that off as a more trolly sort of thing. But my backstory is basically Hire Mame, which was my shortest backstory I've ever written
100%.
by a lot.
Even Steve had a quite elaborate backstory, which cracked me up.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed not being killed by bears, which seems to happen every other campaign. And I definitely enjoyed not being the squad leader.
I think that's probably the next question for all you guys is just being a different type of story, like not your typical dungeon crawl where you have the BBG at the end, you've got to literally fight your way through to the end and kill the BBG, rather than this one was more about infiltration, getting in, stealing the ledger and getting out without being caught, or without raising suspicion or anything like that, which was going to be extremely hard for you guys purely because of your group makeup. So again, like I said, I think you did reasonably well with that, and then obviously getting caught and being offered employment with Phineas Stone, because I mean, again, he's a very shrewd businessman. He knows that he rules with an iron fist. He rules by fear. People know that he's ruthless in that, but he's also very intelligent, and he's not gonna just kill someone for the sake of killing someone. He definitely, if he sees a potential in someone, which he saw in you guys, I mean, you did breach his security and get in, which not many people have managed to do for quite some time. So with that, which is hence why poor Jarrah met the fate that he did, is because that was his responsibility to make sure that that doesn't happen, which now falls to Manus. So unfortunately, Manus, if Manus can't keep people out, then Manus might join the gallery at some point.
I mean, I'd make a fine statue, I really would.
Oh, you would. It'd be, I mean, the chiseled good looks and
pose for it. You know?
So I guess now moments, any moment that stood out for you as players for tonight's session, or even the previous two sessions. In fact, we'll start with Manus for that, since we're already there. Story overall, anything like that, just anything that sort of stands out for you.
I really enjoyed that we got down there and you offered us not a way out, but sort of like an alternative to that, you know, that slog through and fight everything in our path. And I really enjoyed that and the way that sort of played out. I did like the bit with the mimic elevator and stuff, and just sort of standing there watching them sort of fumble around with the doors, and I'm, you know, waiting for something to happen horribly wrong to one of those two.
I really did think someone was just going to walk in blindly and get eaten by an elevator. I really did. I was kind of hoping, to be fair, because that would have been funny.
Been eaten before.
Pretty much. I mean, he's had his arm just about eaten off by a mimic before.
Yeah. Gillian almost lost an arm.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed the team dynamic, and obviously that bit where we're like acting as if we've been together for a while and throwing out things that had happened. I really enjoy that. So
what happens in Gatton remains in Gatton.
Yeah, one day we might find out.
Well, it's funny you should say that.
We don't even want to go back there again. No.
I mean, you guys have given me some ideas for P2, just so you know. If you ever go to Gatton in P2, you might find out what happened in Gatton. You never know. Or you might get an inkling, at least.
No, it's
there
really
might be some evidence.
Oh God! one of Arme's turds that
he's told me, and I'm like, oh God, okay.
Yeah, that was a good moment. And he's like, oh, we should just, you know, take a poop and they'll step in the blood. And I'm like, what are you talking about, you mad bastard? Anyway,
well, they don't have a bathroom.
Look, true. That's the one thing that stood out for me, was asking where the fucking bathrooms are. It's like, why? I
always do.
Fucking Trash sent you a message. He's like, ask him where the bathroom is.
And we'll transition on to Ame, Mr. Drax. Moments from you, sir.
Was the what you're saying about the elevator mimic, and you're saying you definitely think that one of us would trap it. I was thinking, well, if Ame is a person from the sea that is basically not overly intelligent, he probably wouldn't realize it was an elevator or what an elevator was to begin with.
To be fair, yeah. I mean, either
He's
way,
not
just
overly dumb,
yeah. I
but-
mean, you know what a creature is, and the fact that you'd seen an eye and it's basically spat on you. I trying to describe what spit smells like is not easy. I
Well,
mean,
if you'd said it smelled like 2-week-old fish, you probably would have gone in.
I had considered that. I really did. I had considered maybe using that, but no. I mean, that would have been too much of a troll for you.
So
Means
as
a
for
lot, thank you.
tonight- For tonight, I've got Salanth flirting again. Saying, oh, you look pretty good, just like Grog. I like the way that you described the Jorah turning into marble. That whole bit was really awesome. And I do agree, I do like the way that you sort of almost gave us a way out, as Grim put it.
Yeah.
Because I went into tonight's session saying, yeah, we're dead.
That's a great way to look at a session. Oh, we're gonna die. We're so dead.
I was like, yep, sweet. I've spent like almost half of my small spell slots and all my big spell slots. I'm screwed.
Well, yeah, like you say, you guys said that you were in a pretty nasty predicament, and it was all because of the armory. If you had not have gone into the armory, you probably would have fared a lot better. I think. You never know. I mean, again, we won't know. The dice tells the story in the end with a lot of these things. So you make a decision, and that's it. Jeff, what's up? Thank you for the follow. Drexel. Same thing for you. Moments from tonight and the adventures in general.
When I stepped in the elevator and you trolled me a little bit and the screen went red, I was like, no, not like this. Like, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go, but I was like, there's got to be a way down, and we've gone through 2 of the 3. Like, it was pretty bad, and I was just like, I saw it go red, and I was like, no. Like, I've been trying not to do this, been trying not to bust through doors, just...
I knew where you went. I knew where you went exactly immediately. Just like, yeah, I mean, that was a triggering
like,
tile. So.
Oh, I was like, damn.
But
Other than that, though, it was definitely like, just like our group makeup being kind of goofy. Because you normally you metagame it slightly to where you have a flat layout. And we didn't do that at all.
Just finishing up,
it
Jeff.
Was very interesting.
So Jeff, we're just finishing up. This is a mini adventure, so this is episode 3, which turned out to be the final, but we're just sort of discussing it. We'll be running for a little bit, maybe another 20 minutes or so. Just going through the characters, getting some moments from tonight and from the session as a whole. And then we'll probably talk about, we'll just talk D&D until we finish the session. So, Nutty, your turn. Blow your snores.
I did already. Oh, should I do it while I've got the microphone on like I did last week?
Yeah. Bloody tornado down the microphone.
I'm sorry. Tonight's in particular, the bits that I enjoyed were I can't remember, I'm just here to protect my wards. Mess.
I don't know how much we're getting paid. I mean, shit.
Yeah, I got it right because these guys are dumb.
Pretty much.
Not Thrixel, Amaze, you had me at fish.
That was always going to be a
cliche.
thing. I was always going to use that with Arme because he seemed so focused on it.
Oh my god, fish. So like your fish is like our mushrooms, man, and my mushrooms.
Jeff with the Prime Gaming sub. Thank you very much.
Oh, crack up. And yeah, so that was my two favorite bits, and I just like the way I'm standing there thinking, is this dude gonna? I'm like, I don't want to look at this guy in case he decides to turn us all into stone.
Well, that was the threat, right? So if you guys had decided to go, nah, fuck it, we're gonna just attack him, he would have stepped back and allowed the ogres to sort of take the brunt of it, but eventually he would have used his stone gaze and attempt to turn many of you into stone. Probably not all of you, but again, he alone as a Medusa has the ability to reverse that as well. So it could have been interesting, nonetheless. But again, to have a BBEG that
Honestly,
was not out to just kill everyone was
I
something
was
different
sizing
for
him
me
up,
too.
thinking,
So.
I can take you. I got you. I can take you.
Really?
And I was
Okay.
like, no, maybe not.
Okay, so Phineas had 127 hit points.
Okay, I can't take you. I would have been dead by the first hit.
He has
I think I had
obviously he has snake here, which is a melee attack, but he's also got multi attack. He has
Yeah, all right. Stop skyding.
three snake here attacks, or 2 with his short sword, or 2 with his ranged attacks with his longbow.
Hush now.
But he also has petrifying gaze. So yeah, I mean, he would have definitely been a formidable opponent.
I think so. No, I think
we had
I
a
like the way it.
chance.
You would have, there's always a
Totally
chance. I mean,
did was
like I
good.
said, dice. This is a cool thing about D&D, is that dice will always tell your story. It doesn't matter how big your boss is. There's always a chance your players, if the dice comes together for your players and they work together in a reasonable fashion, which you guys pretty much did in the first 2 combats. You worked reasonably well, focusing on one target, and sort of did what you generally should do in those sort of situations. I think you did pretty well.
See, the worst part I think about if we did fight him was whichever one of us was doing the best, in quotes, would have been the first to be turned to stone. More than likely.
Well, yeah, yes and no. It really depends.
To some extent.
Yeah, it really depends.
So, well, and if he sees you as a larger threat, you'd probably. So that would.
Well, this is the thing with
with
someone with an intelligence, like someone with that level of intelligence, is they're not there just to kill people.
Right.
If he saw you as a threat, he might decide to turn you to stone or capture you, and turn you. If he couldn't turn you, then he'd kill you, kind of thing. That's the way he looks at it. He'll either recruit you or kill you. If he can't recruit you, then you're no good to him. If he saw potential in all of you.
Got into combat.
Yeah. So he obviously saw potential in Manus as a leader and as someone with a cooler head that would potentially not escalate things to violence as quickly as Minotaur or an ogre would, per se. Even though they're paid very well, ogres specifically aren't overly intelligent creatures as a general rule. They're loyal, 100%, but they're not overly intelligent, and they're quick to violence, as are Minotaurs as a general rule. A little bit more intelligent, but quick to violence. It's just their nature, and for this time and purpose, they serve Orpheus's purpose quite well. What he saw in Manus was someone with the intelligence to know the difference, that when violence is necessary, as opposed to just being something you resort to in a particular situation, and then obviously seeing you guys working together, Thrixl being the quick with the sword, generally a pretty good combatant, and wanting to make a name for himself, essentially. It's that pride and that ambition is what he saw in Thrixl like he had picked it straight away because he's ambitious himself. So he saw that in Thrixl right off the bat. You want to make a name for yourself, you work for me and you'll make a name for yourself, kind of thing. So I would imagine Thrixl's going to be that frontline fighter or that thief or that assassin that would be quite happily do what he's paid to do and not think twice about it, kind of deal. Within reason. It really depends. I mean, you are going to be operating on the opposite side of the law, but Manus is in a position where he doesn't have to be murdering somebody, so he's not going to make that call. He's now basically the caller, head of security caller. He organises the rest of the security to ensure that no one steals from Orpheus Stone, or they get in and cause trouble. So they get dealt with, they get removed, whatever. If it turns to violence, then it turns to violence. That calls down him. Arme would be probably just pointed in the right direction. Here, I'll give you some extra fish if you go beat that guy up, kind of thing. And Arme just go do it, because you get extra fish. And Salanth again.
Arme is the Rocky Balboa of sorts.
Yeah, pretty much. And Salanth is, again, I think he's seen the gambler in her. She likes to gamble in the situation. She definitely is not your typical warlock, and that's something that intrigues him. So that's probably why he'd offered her the job as well. So whether that was being a server, because she's definitely got that potential, but as a warlock she'd also be sort of undercover guard security as...
It's me down here and got your drinks.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, there's a lot of halfling servers, just to be fair.
I guess we'd be about the same height.
So that was why I chose Into the Snake Pit more than anything else, purely because it wasn't your typical dungeon crawl. You didn't have a witch or a dragon at the end of the dungeon that you had to go in and kill or whatever. You didn't have a bunch of kobolds to fight through and find the treasure at the end of the kobold tunnels or whatever. And there's plenty of those out there. Which I kind of thought, well, because we kind of did that with Dusk Hollow, right? We had that typical dungeon crawl. Let's go in and clear out the cultists in this area and stop them doing whatever they're doing. And the next one might be something similar, because there are plenty of adventures that I can do. And now that this one's completed, I'll start working on the next one. But hopefully the next one we actually do will be roasted chickens one, because now this is finished. I think I'll put him on the spot again, because I think we told him 5 weeks, give or take, that this would take. So now I'm going to have to hit him up and say, hey, dude, we're ready next Wednesday. Let's do it.
Or he'll be like, yes, oh, here we go.
Oh, look, here he is. Speaking of the devil. Hey, chicken, you ready for next week?
I just got here.
Oh, that's great.
Don't go anywhere, chicken. I will talk to you at the end of this. But when we finish up, I do want to catch up with you and sort of get an idea of when you're ready. We can take a break next week. So next Wednesday we can take a break, and we can start the Wednesday after if you're ready. Just let me know where you're at. You can even, if you want, jump in the video call now. We're on the... I don't know if you're in the Shadows Embrace one. I can send you a link and you can join this, or we can just jump in voice on Gilded after. Probably easier to just jump on voice and Gilded after we finish, I think. But yeah, they didn't die. They were given an ultimatum, and they chose employment instead of death. Yes, so Jeff, if you go to the schedule below in the down in the panels, you will see that we do. If you're in the US, yeah, so it's generally 3:30, 4 a.m. Eastern is when we start on a Sunday morning for you, or a Wednesday morning, like early Wednesday morning and Sunday mornings. I do map making Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as well. Which is all roughly about the same time. So they're starting early morning in the US, about 4 a.m. Central, 4 a.m. Eastern,
Thursday.
sorry.
Not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
I said Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
You said Wednesday.
No, I didn't. I said Wednesday for D&D. Don't argue with me.
I will.
No, you won't. I will ban you. I will ban you. All the D&D stuff, VODs, go to the YouTubes, exclamation point YouTube for that. Yeah, so as I said though, this coming Sunday there will be no D&D this coming Sunday. We'll be taking a break this week, because next Sunday we'll be starting Season 3 of the Vampire the Masquerade. So yeah, this should be a lot of fun. Anything else? Any other questions from you guys about the module or the adventure that we have just completed?
Well, I think someday it'd be cool to I almost wonder if it could you do a D&D session with 2 sides to it. So there's a party on each side.
This has come up several times before, with running 2 parties side by side. There's been talk about doing it with a possible Curse of Strahd, running 2 parties, 2 DMs, and logistically, it's a fucking nightmare.
Well, I meant 2 parties, 1 DM, like
even then,
like
logistically, like to try and run 2 separate parties on either side of the coin, to try and it logistically just wouldn't work, I don't think, because you're going to have decisions made on both sides which could put them in different places at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, you might have your good party putting themselves in this position, which means that they actually are supposed to meet the other party, but then the other party makes a completely different decision, which moves them away from that. Therefore, you've got this forever sliding event happening. It's kind of hard to line those events up a lot of the time because decisions people make. So you could do that on the opposite side of the scale, where we've played this from this side of the coin now. I could do this adventure again, but we do it from the guard's perspective.
Right.
Potentially. But then it changes. You got to write a whole new story to go with it to make it work.
Right.
So it basically becomes a whole new adventure.
The PCs or the NPCs.
Yeah. It just becomes a whole new adventure, which is not a bad thing.
Right. I mean, you could always rerun it with Manus as the head of the guard too.
What we could do, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have an issue rerunning Into the Snake Pit again in the future with a different player group and a different player and like different race character makeup, because I mean, you imagine if you had a decent rogue or whatever. I mean, even a rogue mage fighter bard combination.
Right.
That would be a pretty good combination.
I just
for
noticed
this.
I had an advantage the whole time today.
Whoops. No worries, Jeff. Cheers for the follow, buddy, and the sub. Appreciate it. What's up, Trash? But yeah, so there's so many. I mean, you run an adventure like this, and you could run it again with a different group easily enough. I wouldn't want to do it too quickly, because obviously people remember what it was all about, and they remember the story and things like that. So you want to separate them. Easily enough changed. That's the cool thing about maps. I mean, the essentials will stay the same, like the areas, but what's in them can easily change. Like, I can take away the elevator mimic and not have an elevator mimic, not have a trap, have all 3 elevators go to the ground, to the vault. Scoopsy with a sub.
Yeah, when I noticed that he was a Gorgon, I was like, holy fuck. Like, that is not something I wanted to, like, I was not expecting that. I saw the pointy ears and I'm like, shit, like, he's an elf. I can't charm him. And then you kept going, and then you turned somebody's stone. I'm like, it gets worse.
Definitely was not an elf. I mean, you could have tried to have charmed him, but I'd say the chances of success would have been relatively low.
Oh yeah, they were. That's why I was trying to do
his saves are pretty high.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, not stupid. He was not unbeatable. This is the thing with most BBEGs, and I mean, I'm not going to put a big bad guy in these adventures and make them unbeatable, because that kind of defeats the purpose. But he definitely would have been a difficult combatant to beat, 100%. But yeah, so that is the end of our mini adventure, and 3. Yeah, I mean, that's how long did Dusk Hollow go for? 6. I think it was 6 or 7. I think it was 6.
Yeah.
This one was always going to be a little different. I don't think
our chat before the game was funny too.
Yeah.
Do we have potions?
No.
You guys literally had in game 3 days, I think it was. Your first day you got there, the second day, and then the third day going back. So literally 3 days leading up to it to make sure you had enough equipment.
Never went shopping once.
I mean, you you guys, to be fair, didn't have a lot of gold to begin with anyway, but you didn't ask Nillaby about resources, which he could have. He didn't offer any payment up front, which I was surprised no one asked him for anything up front, because he would have.
Yeah.
If you'd asked him for a part payment up front, he would have given you a gold up front, which then you could have gone and bought what you needed to buy. I think Nillaby thought, shit, my luck has turned. They're not asking for 50% up front like they normally do. Awesome. If this lot die, I don't lose anything.
I was waiting for Stone to tell us to go and get him.
That was something I had considered, was saying, okay, well, now you're working for me.
My job.
Maybe it's time to bring Nillaby in for a bit of a chat.
Yeah.
But also, Stone sees Nillaby as a source, a forever source of entertainment. So,
True.
Well, I was gonna
And he probably makes money.
suggest taking a fake ledger to him and getting the money from him, but
well, that's something.
Jobs, it's like, oh well, fuck it.
Well, that could work too. I mean, that's something you could suggest to your now new employer.
Give us a fake ledger and put a trap spell in the middle of it somewhere, and he can turn the stone once we left the room with that money.
Well, they're not evil chicken per se. They are now working for a crime boss, basically. They were never overly. I mean, they're adventurers. Adventurers aren't inherently good.
I mean, I'm neutral.
What?
I was good-ish.
Really?
Not
You've just
really,
accepted
no.
employment from a crime boss. You're not good, Nutty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, not really. looks
Yeah.
at Manus.
I mean,
Your god smites you.
Arme works for fish, so it's okay.
So, fish from the sea, fish from the crime boss, it all comes from the same place.
I mean, I think he'd probably give you a job on one of his freaking frigates that is out on the ocean all the time. Pirates.
So I think the first job I may get is, what do you call it? Manus would say, we want you to go fix that hole in the sewer. Alright, sweet as.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that would definitely be the first one you want to get rid of because you guys managed to find it, and Stone was trying to keep it hidden. So
You got someone who doesn't care about smell, he's the perfect person to send there.
exactly, exactly. But yeah, so chicken. Yeah, I honestly didn't think this one was going to run much more than 3 or 4. Anyway, to be honest, and but no, they did. They still did very well. Yeah, they're sort of down the
Coffee.
either side of the line is where these things were. Yeah, I'll have a coffee, please. My throat's starting to tickle again.
Playing the fence.
Anywho, I think unless you guys have anything more you wish to chat about, we could probably call it there. And raid someone else, I guess.
I'm still considering. I don't want Varius to die. I want to be very clear about that. But I think Manus would be an interesting backup.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is the cool thing about D&D. Regardless of the timeline we're in at the moment, if anything happened to Varius, I would be more than happy to have Manus come in as a backup character.
And have this as his backstory. Like, how did he get out of the employ of Phineas Stone?
Because how long does a Centaur live for is the question.
I think they're about the same as the other.
Centauri.
Oh my god, Nutty. Wow.
They've even increased total age because it was 50 and now they're in line with everything else at 100 years at max.
Yeah, so and timeline wise it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Because it's been set 100 years after, but there's no reason to say that he hasn't been magically
Carnosed across the world.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say that he hasn't. Maybe Stone had turned him to stone. Maybe that's how we introduced the character. He pissed off Phineas off and managed to. They find the gallery under the because it's in the city of Valond. It's underground. They find the vault. The vault has been collapsed and abandoned, and something.
Madness.
Well, there you go. That's an easy write-in for Manus.
Because it would. I mean, yeah.
his sense of, I'd say Manus's sense of propriety and loyalty would probably kick in if offered a place within the militia as a paladin of the paladin of the Queen.
Yeah.
That could definitely work. Something to think about.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, who shall we raid this evening? Excuse me. Holy crap balls. Who was that, Nutty? Sorry?
Moody?
Yeah, Moody's
He's
not.
playing Ark.
Yeah, Moody's not doing D&D. We'd probably better off doing a D&D tonight. Lost Archives. We haven't raided them for a while. You muted, lady.
That's alright, I'm just looking at my list going, I haven't got Lost Archives, I mustn't be following them.
Well, you're normally the one that tells me that they're live. Friendly Hears, we haven't done, mind you, they don't really, they're kind of hard to follow, those guys. Squeaky Clean.
Mistress Eris is playing Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, that's, is that, she playing Blood Hunt?
Yep.
Blood Hunt or Swan
Yeah.
Song.
He's playing Blood Hunt. I think we'll go with Lost Archives. We'll give them, we haven't raided them for a while. They've only just started as well.
Tyranny of Dragons.
Yes. I'm not sure what episode they're up to. But they've only been going for about 30 minutes, so we're going to raid those. We're going to raid them tonight, guys. So make sure if you have not followed them, please do. Lost Archives. There is the raid there. We're going to say goodnight. We're going to be back. Not till next week. So I won't see anyone until Monday. There'll be no stream until Monday. We'll be getting back into some maps, and then keep an eye on the Gilded. Because Sunday we've got our VTM voice call. Next Sunday VTM will start. Next Wednesday, keep it on the Gilded, guys, and then the Twitter. I'll announce when the next Wednesday session will start. So I've got to catch up with Roasted after the show tonight and get some dates. So keep an eye on all the socials. Until then, catch you next time. Stay safe.